All right, I'm pretty excited about today. We had some fun yesterday on the decision table, and the decision table is really looking at problem to solution and figuring out, are there different ways we can have conversations, need to have conversations? Are there different ways we can come up with solutions at the decision table to narrow the gap from problem to solution? And so one of the things I did yesterday was put out to the world, if you've got any topics, any thoughts, any conversations that you would love to see on the decision table, to put it out there. And so some of them came through. In fact, we've got a very cool guest coming on very soon. Not today, but soon on the decision table, James Short. And because we've got a fun conversation to have. We are not saying here that we have all the solutions. What I think, and I said this yesterday very, very clearly, that one of the amazing things about, looking at problems and solutions is that if we continue to do things the same way, we're going to continue to get the same results. So what if we were to have a different conversation and be willing to have, be comfortable with the uncomfortable? Because I think it's definitely getting to a time where we need to look through what has worked, what hasn't worked, and make a difference in that way. So I just wanted to read out a few of the topics that people wanted to hear some conversations around, and remind you, if you see this either live in the comments below, make sure you let me know of any topics you'd love to hear on the decision table, or if there's someone that you would love to, me to have a conversation with around a certain topic on here, then let me know. So here it is. Oh, and if you want to comment and me to see the comments now, I am streaming on StreamYard, and so you have to give permission for me to know that it's you that's talking or commenting. So here's the topics that I've got so far. So make sure you put yours in there. When do you disrupt versus when do you choose to not rock the boat? Oh, I like that one. When you and Taki, so my husband, met, what led you down the path of being global leaders? Interesting conversation. In fact, maybe I need to get him on here with me. What were the conversations you had, and who took the first step? Juicy. Kiri Marie, one I think many would love to hear. So she was saying this is something that lots would love to hear around, especially as you guys seem very aligned and yet trekking your own paths. That's going to be an interesting one. Okay, so of all the models, maps, methods that you have, patterns that you have developed, what has had the biggest impact in changing environment? I love that one. What is the most impactful question you ask to an individual, group right now? If you were to choose a role model, dead or alive, fictional, non-fictional, where are they in the world right now and your place in it? Who would it be and why? What values do they bring, and how would you apply them right now? There we go. To benefit both you and the people you serve. Oh, what would you like your children to learn? Oh, I can't wait to have that one. And the conversation that James, and the question he put in and that we're going to have, James Short, is how do you see the world 20 years from now? Oh, some good juicy topics, some fun things to put into this, the decision table, and roll it around as conversation and see where we go from there. I love it. I wanted today to have have a conversation particularly aimed at people who know me, have loved me. And, I always find it's Sunday here in Sydney. I don't know where you are in the world, but I hope today, whether it's you're starting to finish your day or you're beginning your day, I hope today that it brings new opportunity for things going forward. And I think that is today for me is a vulnerability one. I think vulnerability and leadership is really important. And it's been funny because like I've got the beanie hat thing going because I'm in the middle of preparation for an event that, for those that know me, know all, have known that I've talked about this. And, whether in moments over the years or even just in the last little while hearing about it a bit more. And that's the Global Human Intelligence Forum. And I just wanted to give a little bit of behind the scenes on what I'm thinking, what it's about, and not because really because it's funny because James asked that question, where do I see the world going in 20 years? And I think one of the biggest things that I see is that I've got to get away from what I call creating these models of that there's only one thing, and really look at how we can do business, companies, organizations, which by the way then affects our own personal lives, our families, everything. And I believe we need to create what I believe is sustainable, scalable growth ecosystems. And I think that this is actually one of the biggest things going forward. And so one of the reasons I created the Global Human Intelligence Forum was because I felt that, and this is way before the pandemic hit, but I felt this I began writing around isolation because I saw it affecting so many different people. And I really felt that one of the ways in which we can move away from isolation is by bringing collaboration into place. And collaboration is such almost like a trendy word in many, many cases. And I wanted to pull away from collaboration. We need to collaborate and really figure out what collaboration meant for me. And that was where I could create these ecosystems in which we could really support and not do this journey alone. Even though I'm pretty smart on my own, I can be so much more effective when I join with others, when I'm not doing it on my own, when it's not about me, but it's about the greater vision of what I do. And I think that has been the whole heart and soul of, excuse me for a minute. That's better. The heart and soul behind putting together this Global Human Intelligence Forum. I felt that if there was ever a time for us to come together, to begin a different conversation, to have a platform that was safe for a different conversation to happen, for a platform to really create a space where we could come together and begin to see how we could maybe do things a little different. So there's 4 areas to which I really wanted to see us bring to pass in the Human Intelligence Forum. And I'm really speaking to those that have really supported me through the years, that have known my work. And I'm speaking because of this for the moment, because here's the thing. I really believe that if you and I go beyond ourselves of just words and saying, yes, I'm going to support you, I'm going to collaborate with you, and we begin to connect together and find out how it is that we are meant to support each other, how we can collaborate, how we can use what I have in my corner, have in your corner, and bring that together to make a difference. And so for us to do that, I think, number one, we need to disrupt. We need to disrupt what are the patterns at the table right now and figure out how can we have forward conversations. In other words, pull that apart a little bit more and figure out what was, I think that one of the things that we're seeing All right, let me go back to that in a minute. But so it's disrupt, forward conversations. I think it's number 2, innovate, forward smart, sustainable solutions. I think number 3, it's collaborate, forward culture shifts. And number 4, impact, forward economic humanity growth. So why do I see this as important? And why am I asking us and being really vulnerable around behind the scenes of the Global Human Intelligence Forum? I think it's important because of this and why I created this platform. I think there's 5 areas that are really standing out right now, and that this forum can be a place in which we can actually do these things: disrupt, innovate, collaborate, and impact. So these are the five areas. Not aware. I think we're not always aware of what was working, what is working, and then what could work, right? So in other words, going back to the problem, and the solution, if we are to narrow that gap from problem to solution, we need to be clear on what is it that is working. In other words, where are we heading? What is working? Great. What is not working? What has not worked in the past that we don't want to continue in the future? And then figure out some of the steps along the way that is actually going to help us to shift the dial closer to solution, to where we want to be. So I think number 1, that a lot of people are not aware at the moment of what was working, what is working, and what could work. And the platform, the forum, is very much a place in which we are hearing from smart, amazing, I'm just literally humbled by the speakers, the panel, and some of the little moments of disruption that I've got in there from some amazing, amazing humans. And so we can learn from what is working, from what hasn't worked for them, or they're not going to take forward, because I think that's the interesting thing, that what are you going to take forward into what we say is the new starting point for your new normal going forward. Okay, so number 2, I think it's uncertainty becomes overwhelming. In a lot of cases, what has happened is we get excited about what is possible, and we start moving along, shifting that dial closer to the solution we want to bring to the table. And what happens is we move into overwhelm. And so the forum really is a place where we want to we know that you still need to make decisions, even when it becomes overwhelming, when it becomes challenging. And we want to start giving you new insights to how that could work, how that could make different decisions at the decision table and make the tough ones. You know, there's many amazing global leaders who are ahead of their industries who are going to give us some new sort of ways in which they do it and how they make the tough calls and what that looks like when you make those tough calls and come out the other side. So I think that's pretty exciting. And here's the other thing: when you're uncertain and it becomes overwhelming, what happens is there are consequences to the decisions you make at the table. And then on the other side of it, you know, so there's can be consequences, and then on the other side of it, there can be success. So how do we narrow ourselves and not have the consequences, but move closer and have the success at the table? And those are the things that we can really start think tanking about, having open forum about, and that's what's going to happen in the forum, and why I think that that's really important. So the third thing, which is challenge season. It's a challenged season right now that we often are finding ourselves in across the globe, or we're coming out, or here's the thing, there's still the ongoing effect of that. And so because of that, you may be one of these people that are finding it hard to take risk. And if you want economic growth and be able to scale at a bigger level and play at a bigger level, there is the need to be able to take risk. There is the need to be able to take not just some risk, in some cases, bigger risk. But I always say risk is okay if it's an educated risk. In other words, excuse me, if you have the opportunity to learn uh, as much from data, as much from what other people are doing or not doing, and you can make educated risks. But we all need to, if we want to scale at a much bigger level, play at a much bigger level, grow at a much bigger level, we need to have the ability and the capacity to be able to begin to take risks at a different level. So, and the other thing is, when you go through challenging seasons, what happens often is that you miss out on opportunity. What we want to be able to do is have each other's back at the forum. So the forum's not like, seriously, I don't like summits. So it's not a summit. It's not something where we just want you talked at. We want you to add value to the table. We want you to make sure that you're getting what you need out of it, that you get insights for where you're at in your business, where you're at in your company, your organization, your leadership team, whatever it is that you lead in your world. We want you to be able to not to miss out on opportunity. And so we are providing a platform where you can really move forward on that. So number 4 is short-term versus long-term. I think that, we're seeing a lot of people defaulting back into short-term solutions. And short-term solutions are quite a scary thing, because often it's very tunnel focused. It's focused on what is happening now. And if we go back to what I always talk about here at the decision table, which is, let's get over here to the solution. And if we think of an extremes, short-term versus long-term, there's a big gap between those two things. And there's things that are great that we need to have short-term working to get to the long-term, but the long-term is more about the sustainable side of it. And I think that it's difficult to do when we feel challenged or going through hard times. And so there's the need to be able to make short-term, but make short-term knowing the longer term. So how do you do that in such an uncertain world? And so we want to have a lot of conversations around that. We want to see some inspiring and motivating, moments within, and to see how you could do that in a bigger and a better way. And so we want to be able to support you in making much bigger, long-term sort of decisions at the table as well. All right, so I know this is lots to come in, but I feel like for those that have known me for so long, you've asked me the question off here. You've personal messaged me, hey, I love the whole concept. I'm really wanting to support you, Kerry Marie, and I really want to know more about it. So this is the decision table around the more about it, right? And the reason I want you to be able to understand this is because those that know me, those that have supported me behind the scenes, I need you to support me in front of the scenes. I need you to get out into your communities and start spreading the word. This is where collaboration goes beyond the words. And here's a challenge I'd love to set anyone. And like I said, I'm talking more, and this is a real vulnerable thing for me, okay? I know as a leader that it's quite hard to keep asking or to ask, and it's not been one of my things that I've done in the past. But this is not about me, this forum. I could just get these amazing people that I know who are phenomenal in their own areas to just speak and to record it. But I am not just about providing amazing people to give you new insights, to help you to move forward where you need to go. I am providing amazing people who I believe will help us as human beings, because this is what the whole forum is really about, that we can actually be smart human beings able to think, act, and do. Imagine that. Imagine that. And so that means that we need to experience it. We need to have conversations throughout, and we need to be able to interact and connect during the experience as well. So I'm asking those that know me, support me, and now that you're knowing that there's a few things to why this is great for them, so it's, not aware of things that are going on, what's working, the problems, the solutions. There's uncertainty that's becoming overwhelming. There's challenges in these seasons. How can we best do that? These things, those three things, and 4, short-term versus long-term. And then number 5, unable to move forward. These are the problems we're seeing. This is what the forum can help you be able to move forward, and those in your community be able to move forward too. What happens is when you're unable to move forward, and this is the problem we're seeing, is that you can sabotage the impact and the forward thinking and the forward success that you can have when you are unable to move forward. And then there's the lack of understanding, because you're so in the trenches that it's even hard to think about a next level. It's hard to even think beyond where you are at now. So again, what I'm really asking is this, and this is the challenge I have today for those that know me, those that have said, I love your work, Kerry Marie. I love what you're about. I think you're amazing. Okay, so I'm going to take you up on that. If you really, truly do love me and love my work, and you are wanting to be a part of this bigger vision, I challenge you to buy the tickets at a ridiculous price, like seriously ridiculous price. I challenge you not just to buy your own ticket, but to buy tickets for all of those in your community. It is going to be you guys that fill this room, fill this forum for 3 days of just packed, amazing insights. Let me have a look what I wrote, because I'm probably going to say it better if I look at that versus, me rattling on, which, that's not that much fun. There it is. Okay, so the forum, this is what it is in a nutshell. A forum where humans are encouraged to think about forward conversations. So forward conversations, learn new insights, and innovate proven evolving solutions to experience. And I want to say this so much. Listen to this next piece. To experience the economic advantage as you learn to exercise the muscle of human intelligence. That's my favorite, is the whole thing around human intelligence. I will be speaking on that. It will be this whole forum is based on human intelligence, smart humans that are able to be even smarter in the decisions you make at the table, because you learn to be able to exercise the muscle of human intelligence, which I say is the economic advantage. And guess what? And Sunday is always my day where I really focus in on humanity, and I really reflect on the bigger vision of what I'm about. And that is that not only can I increase and scale in a beautiful way the economic side of what I do, and the advantage of that is that I get to accelerate the humanity impact that I get to do and want to do as I continue to move my pathway forward. Do you know what? This has been years coming in a lot of ways to bring it out into the world into a bigger way. And so that's why it's a vulnerable post here today. This is why it's a vulnerable decision table, because this has been a dream of mine where we have, I looked for many years at events, and I would go to something and I'd like a little piece of it, but they would go, but how do we actually not, and I remember even I was a youth speaker for many years, and I remember when I came into business and I began speaking on stages, I was like, everyone kept saying to me, you're so motivational, you're so inspirational. And I go, yeah, but did you learn what I had? Because that's like what I did so that you could go do it. And I realized that I was merely just teaching I wasn't giving skills to. And I think that this is what the forum really opens up, a platform where it is safe to go, what is it I need? What is it I want to take with me that's going to help me be able to make a bigger impact in what I have to do out there? So if that is sounding like you, if it sounds like something that you would love to be a part of, then I want to make sure that you get your spot locked into coming to the Global Human Intelligence Forum. It's on the 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's an online live event, and we want you there. And we've done it at a really early hour, so 5 a.m. till 12 p.m. on Sydney time zone, so that America, you can be there. We have literally done it so that, those that are, and I say America because a lot of my supporters, people who love and adore my work are from America. And so, I really wanted to make sure that we made it at a time that you could be a part of it. So the challenge I have for you today is, and I am putting this out there, is I want you to put into the comments that you will help support this, not just by spreading the word, but buying your ticket. And I don't care if you buy just a few for your community, but some for your community, if not for all your community, because it's a ridiculous price. And this is how we are going to spread the word and create a safer, it is a safer place for leadership, for teams, for just, even if you are, whatever you do, you might just be working in a small little local community project and you want support on that. We are here for you. There is no one that cannot walk in the door. One of the reasons I'm just doing this while I'm in the middle of my work and I'm just the beanie head today is I want you to realize it doesn't matter who you are. If you look at the speakers, I think that it's quite obvious that none of us look all the same, and that was on purpose, because this is about having different distinctions at the decision table to get different insights so that you can take what you need to be able to go and do what you're meant to do even bigger and better, and know that we've got your back. I'm so excited. And I'm, literally been doing so much work towards this. And so I need you to get out there to support it. So make sure you put in the comments, #support, and you are going to buy a ticket. You're going to get your community around this. You're going to, your organization around this. Imagine just even if 10 people decided that they wanted to buy it for their whole community. How many would that be at the table? All right, this is what we've got to do. This is taking collaboration from just words. Hey, I'm going to love you. I'm going to support you. This is amazing what you're doing. What if you supported it? You came to be a part of it. And then we were able to see, if you're in the room, we can then support you as well and collaborate with you and figure how best we can help. Don't just move me forward, but move you forward. And so this is just another ecosystem in which I really want us to learn how collaboration is the solution to isolation. And it takes you, it takes me, it takes many of us amazing humans joining together and making this a new way to be able to, what did I say? Have forward conversations, learn new insights, and innovate proven evolving solutions. What if, because you were there and created that space for you, you were able to innovate the next smart, sustainable solution for whatever you're doing in your company, your organization, your business? I think that's a pretty amazing hope to come out of that. And I know that I'm going to hear things that are just going to inspire what I'm working on to be able to take it to new levels. Okay. I'm looking forward to you being there. I'm looking forward to, I'm not pushing it out any other broadcasts. on the decision table, other than I will encourage people to come to the Global Human Intelligence Forum. But this particular one, I've been asked by lots of you that have said to me, I want to support, I'm not really sure what it's about. So I just felt that this was the time to bring it out into the world a bit more, and to make sure that you understood the heart and soul, that I'm seeing there's people not aware. I'm seeing that there's uncertainty when and people are becoming overwhelmed. I'm seeing that this is a challenging time, and because of that, people are scared to take risks, to be able to, and are missing out on opportunity. I'm seeing that the solutions at the table are becoming short-term solutions rather than the long-term solutions. I'm seeing those that are unable to move forward because, future thinking, what I'm just trying to cope with now thinking. And not that these things are bad things if you know how to make them work for you. And if you're able to make better decisions at the table, or know how to make a decision during these times, we will be there for you. We have your back, and this is going to be an amazing, amazing event. So make sure that you lock in those dates. It's June the 4th, 5th and 6th Sydney time, 3rd, 4th and 5th in the States. So just to give a couple of time zones for across the world. I'm so excited. And I do really love and appreciate those that have, supported me to this, to get me to this space, to who have sent me messages. You've got this. This is amazing. We love you. You're so inspiring. Well, the reason I do this is not because I want to be inspiring, but because I believe this platform will give voice to the front line of humanity, and we'll be able to make better decisions at the decision table. All right, big love to you today, and I want to leave you with this thought. If you're not feeling so happy today, if you're feeling vulnerable today, one of the best things that I learned when I ended up in a wheelchair, and that's a whole different story, was that there was this huge percentage of people with my condition, and then I got another condition on top of it, and that have depression. And so, in fact, with one of my conditions, it was 1% chance that I wouldn't get depression. And I remember that I was so determined, I'm going to be that 1%. I'll tell that story another day, but here's the one thing that I want to leave you with. And it's this, that I want you today to be able to think beyond who you are. If you are feeling unhappy, if you're not feeling if you're feeling isolated, if you're feeling like you're alone on this journey, that you message someone that is, you could just reach out and say, hey, how you doing? What are you up to? How can I support you? Because what I learned was, when I took it from in focus to an out focus, it was really hard to be depressed. In other words, if I start thinking about what's going wrong in my world and all that sort of thing, then I was actually starting to dwell on that, and I became feeling unhappy and sad and isolated and things like that. So when I started, even when I didn't want to, I would just message someone, and they'd go, thanks for, it'd be out of the blue, and they'd go, thank you for reaching out. I was actually feeling really upset, and all these things. And then I realized, even though I felt I had nothing to give, there was always something I could give. So today, if there's one person that you haven't reached out to in a long time, I encourage you to reach out to them today. Just send them some love, send them a hello. Hey, how are you doing? And, it'll make a big difference. And it not just makes you feel better, but here's the thing. It means that we are connected as humanity. And I think this is important, particularly in times where isolation can be a really hard thing for whatever you're going through. So do that today. Reach out to someone, share some love, and, make a difference, not just in your life, but in other people's lives as well. All right. Big love to you. And thank you, because I know this has been a lot about what I've been doing and things like that, but it's because I'm doing it because I really believe and see that these are things across the world that are needing support, needing love, needing platforms. And so that's what the forum's about. And I can't wait to see you there, and have an awesome day if you are just about to begin it. And may you have a restful night if you're going down the other side of the globe. Big love to you.